Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's town hall. That music makes me feel like I have to continue with that vibe, and I don't know if I can, but a quick intro for you guys. As always, we are recording and live streaming today's session. So if you have trouble at any point with Zoom, you can just go on over to YouTube and watch us live there. We're going to start with company and product updates before moving on to a Q&A from the audience. So if you do have any questions that you want to go ahead and ask now during the session, please use the Q&A function, which you should be able to find at the bottom of your screen. The chat is a really good place for chatting. Please chat there with your fellow host. We might chime in as well, but we can't promise to actually answer all of your questions in the chat. They get lost really easily. So if you have a question that you want answered by our team, stick to the Q&A. All right, now we will bring up our brief disclaimer. Here it is, before hearing from PC.
Thank you so very much, Emily, for taking over for Miles. Miles is safe, he's on vacation, and Emily very kindly volunteered for running this town hall. So yeah, we're back from the retreat. As many of you know, we were in Vrbo in Montenegro a few weeks ago, and as you can spot, I have not tanned. So what the statement that ended the last town hall is still showing us through. It was an SPF 550 sponsored retreat for me. This is the first time in 156 weeks that we finally went on a retreat. It felt overdue. We went through a lot of building, a lot of growth, and yeah, we needed a bit of that step back. Here you have a bit of a view. That's not a fair representation of our stay. It was really fantastic weather for a long time. It's just we had to take the picture at the time when there was basically gray clouds. And obviously you can imagine the logistics of having 59 people on that picture. It's exactly as you can imagine. So we had 59 people coming over from 28 different countries. So it took quite a bit of logistics internally for several months to be able to prepare that. And yeah, so what did we talk about? Where we started thinking about the next decade, which was obviously, as you can imagine, an ambitious goal, but it also translates to reality. It is that we are celebrating this year the 10-year anniversary of Hospitable. So what did we talk about precisely? Well, that will be distilled in many town halls to come. But behind the scenes, yeah, we needed some time to regroup, share some memories, gain some perspective about how far we've grown. And yeah, we also were able to do the thing that we cannot do while working as a remote and distributed company, which is to finally know about everyone's height. It's not something that we know about, and I can assure you, everyone was very excited to know, oh, you're this tall. Oh, not. So yeah, and we're coming back energized. For many of us, at least, some of us have to recover. And we're back to building. And so to help us on that journey, we have 4 new people that have joined us actually very recently, including one whose first day was at the retreat. And his name is Patrick, and he's a totally new function and person altogether. Patrick, I think that's a moment when you can show your camera. Yeah, you were yours. You did well. Fantastic, Patrick.
Nice.
Yeah, tell a bit of your customers who you are and what you're going to be doing at Hospitable.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, PC. Hi, everyone. As you probably can hear, I'm German, but I live in Lisbon, Portugal. And yeah, I'm from a small little village from Germany, and I joined Hospitable last week on this amazing trip to Montenegro. So probably the best onboarding I've ever had in my entire life. And over the last few years, I've been working in the travel and hospitality space, and I always heard about Hospitable, and also about the amazing hosts, about amazing people, also what made me join this company as well. And also you're gonna hear much more from me from the upcoming weeks as well, because I'm trying to build and also extend our partner business to make the best experience for our hosts. And also, PC, a fun fact about me, during COVID, I was the face of the tourism Portugal for 3 years, and think everybody knew me then in Lisbon, but my Portuguese is very bad, so people in the streets were recognizing me and talking with me in Portuguese, and I'm German. So it was very funny for me as well, and also very happy to be on board as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's fantastic. I think it got you. I think it has to be measured. It's quite a performance. I think it took you literally 3 seconds to say that you were German, which, I don't know. There is probably someone in the back of the room that would not know.
I thought other people also dialing in from
Yeah.
Germany.
There are many people that are listening from Germany,
Yeah.
of course. So thank you so very much. And so you're going to help us build a strong partnership with all integration and the ecosystem that is working with Hospitable, especially in the API, but not just quite. So there's plenty of things that you will be able to talk about probably in upcoming town halls. Thank you so very much, Patrick. And yeah, we're going to call you internally 3P. Next, we have Lee Overy. We did not arm wrestle with me during the retreat. Those rumors are fake. For many reasons. But yeah, tell us who you are and what you're doing at Hospitable. So we knew there was a problem with Lee's computer. This is hilarious. So apparently Lee's laptop is burning, and basically he complained for quite a few times that it had memory issues. So we're probably, I think it's kind of, I don't think it's going to work, and I think we're going to be having Lee now basically with his eyes shut, unless it's basically something resuming. Okay, so we're gonna move to Alex. No, we have Lee now. Okay, we have Lee. Sorry,
Oh.
Alex, we're gonna wait for you again. Lee, how are you doing? We have two of you now on the call. What's up?
Really? Oh no. Yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
just typical. The moment I unmuted, it crashed again.
It's the law. It's Murphy's law.
Okay.
So quickly, what do you do?
Okay, so I'm Lee from a little town called Lowestoft in the UK. I've joined Hospitable about 5 weeks ago as a senior software engineer. Yeah, I thought that I was going to be one of the newest people on the retreat, but then I shared a taxi with Patrick and found out that was literally his first day, which was hilarious. Been a software engineer for about 20 years or so, and yeah, super happy to be here. Fun fact, probably has to be the fact I was a Marine before I wrote code. So yeah, from Marine to kind of full-blown nerd.
And I think for that audience, that would have to be specific to be a British Marine, right?
British Marine, yes.
British one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so very much. That made a very strong impression on the team and the company for sure, especially since your first weeks at Hospitable. So thank you so very much for that. And yeah, you're working with what we call the Trust Tech team, working on everything direct and payments related. Thank you for that. I think you can probably turn the fan on your laptop or putting it in some ice. And then we can go over to Alex, who is joining us just this week. So unfortunately, you did miss the retreat, but no worries, there's going to be one next year. So who are you? What are you doing at Hospitable?
Yes, I'm counting down the days to that next retreat. And I'm not a Marine, and I'm not from Germany. I'm from the US, although my grandfather was born in Hamburg, so I do have the blood in me somewhere. Yeah, so I live in Miami. I've joined the customer success team as a customer success manager. Super excited. I'm going to be helping our current Hospitable customers really getting the most out of the product and its features, getting more efficient with their businesses. I myself, I am a host, been a host for a couple of years now, been a customer of Hospitable for a few years, so it's helped me tons, and I can't wait to talk to other people who are in the same boat as me and get them going, make them more money.
How many properties are you managing personally? Six
properties.
And how many of those do you own? I think do you actually
1.5?
Yeah, 1.5. That's exactly what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's been some growth in the offer call already. I think you close on quite a few listings, so you have a booming business already on your own, right?
Very much so. I've grown, and Hospitable has been a big contributor to that. So I'm thankful and grateful.
Thank you so very much. Hopefully you can share that with a few other customers.
Totally.
Thank you very much, Alex. And then we move over to Jose, who is joining us from Honduras and joining our sales development team. Hello, Jose. What are you going to be working on at Hospitable?
Hey there. Yeah, Jose here from Honduras, from Central America, and I'll be, as you mentioned, like the new sales development representative at Hospitable, and I'm going to be helping with outbound support here to make sure that we secure success and growth for the company. Been on support service a lot. I previously helped with marketing development and onboarding, so just a small hiatus, and now I'm joining back to the team. And a fun fact about me, I don't know, I've been saying this a lot lately that I had like a silent passion for photography. So this year I dropped my phone and I'm just like, I got a professional camera. And unfortunately, I became the designated photographer for the family. So yeah, I have that going on for me. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Super
Thank you
excited.
so very much, Rode. We're very glad to have you back at Hospitable, this time moving into our internal team. I see many comments in the chat about whether something has changed on the joining process, nothing that we're familiar with. So we don't really know what's been going on Zoom side. Normally, everyone can join. So yeah, we will check that out for the next one. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about this particular webinar. You can still view it, obviously, from YouTube, from LinkedIn, on our pages on the channel. Okay, now onto the product updates. So we have our product updates to share. There will be some that are already been requested in the chat. We're going to start by Hospitable MCP and the new tools that are available. And then at the end of this call, you can have plenty of time for Q&A. Good luck, Nick.
Thanks, PC, and welcome again to all the new faces on the team. So, quick recap, Hospitable MCP, we launched this 1st of April. It was not an April Fool's joke. It allows you to connect Hospitable to your AI agent of choice, like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Base 44, and so on. And what that allows you to do is basically get your AI working as your assistant to create reports, dashboards, workflows, find opportunities, message your guests, basically do all the things that you would love to do in a kind of customized, personalized manner that maybe our UI doesn't allow you to do exactly as you would want it to do. And yeah, it just kind of opens up a lot of possibilities and opportunities. It's available to all plans except Essentials, and yeah, more and more customers are having a lot of success and excitement around this. So if you want to get started, check out mcp.hospitable.com. To give you a sense of kind of what's available there, an AI agent after connecting MCP would be able to like read and update your calendar, have access to your Knowledge Hub, manage it, check out your reservations, messages, message your guests, can see reviews incoming, reply to those, review replies, also access your tasks. And just this week, we've also rolled out the ability for AI agents to even see your current smart devices and what the statuses are up there. Managing codes is coming soon, as well as new stuff like seeing and managing scheduled messages as well. More to come. We recently had a build-a-thon to kind of inspire the community to build things around the Hospitable MCP and just to kind of see and show what is possible. We had plenty of submissions. People built custom guidebooks, dashboards, stuff to do with finding guests to reach out to for either rebooking or gap night and so on. Stuff around damage claims, cleaner bonuses, and even entire like themed full-on AI assistants, as you can see in the screenshot there. That was the winner. So as a result of that, we have a lot of things happening in the community now. So first thing, if you head to community.hospitable.com, there's a new section that you'll see kind of highlighted about MCP Builders. It's a different group within the community. If you join that, you'll have access to more and more conversations that other hosts are starting there. They're either sharing their own success and their workflows or asking questions, providing answers, examples, and guidance. So join in if you're interested in this, ask questions, share what's working for you and what's not. More and more people are in there and kind of basically working on this together as it evolves. And also brand new just today, we teased this last time, and it is live in its first form. So there is a kind of a start of an MCP library that we've curated from the initial work that we've been seeing hosts do with the Hospitable MCP and AI agents. So within the community, the top kind of featured post links to this MCP library, and it will give you an inspiration for kind of things that you can do. Some of those things will have kind of copy pastable prompts. A lot won't for now, we're working on it, but at least it outlines kind of the steps involved in having those exact scenarios replicated. A lot of them have videos as well. So this is meant to be a place where you should be able to go and not only get inspiration, but actually step-by-step guidance for how to do some of those things. Again, not all of those will be copy pastable, working on it. And the last thing I'll mention on the MCP front, we had a series of workshops. First one was introductory. This was about a month ago. And then it followed up a week later by another one about example prompts and kind of use cases. That was a fun one because during that, one of our hosts actually used one of the prompts provided, copy pasted it in ChatGPT, and got 2 guests to extend their stays based on the provided instructions, which is just cool to see, all within minutes. There will be another one next week. So next Tuesday, May 19th, you can tune into that as well, where I will be going into more kind of in-depth workflows, kind of setting up entire, almost kind of AI mini apps, trying to keep it still kind of not too technical, showing you how you can hook multiple tools together in AI agents to do more interesting things. So if you're interested in MCP and learning more, so join the community, check out our YouTube channel. We have recordings of those MCP workshops, and register for the next one. That's next week. I think somebody will share the link in the chat just now. So that's updates on MCP. Next, I'll still have the stage for a little bit longer and talk about a few things that we've polished up in the app. First, we've been getting reports kind of over time of, you're trying to write a message in the inbox, and at a certain point, it might freeze up and you can't really do anything else with the app, and you kind of have to force close it and go back in and kind of work around this. So this has been really hard to actually figure out what exactly is going on. And we've had kind of 3 separate attempts to try and fix this in different ways. We think we've improved the situation tremendously, but we're not entirely certain. So that's why there's a kind of question mark here. We think it's fixed, but we're not sure. So please let us know if it's still happening for you, right? If you're typing a message and suddenly the app freezes and you can't do anything. We think it's better, at least right now. And then the second thing is, in the previous town hall, during the Q&A section, somebody was talking about auto reply and how kind of it's working great, but they'd love to have a header rather than a footer for like AI attribution, like this is a message sent by AI and then the AI message rather than the other way around. So that's available now. If you're using auto reply, you can have either a header or a footer or both if you wanted to kind of attach to the AI generated message. And if you're not sure what auto reply is, in our Mogul plan, auto reply is kind of your inbox on autopilot. It's an AI assistant living in the inbox that automatically replies to as many messages as it can using the knowledge hub and other info available on your account kind of as guidance. If you're interested, check that out on Mogul trial. And just very quickly, I saw Jay saying in chat that it's still happening. Okay, we'll have a 4th attempt at fixing this further. Thanks, Jay. And now passing it off on to Andrew, I think.
Yep. Thank you, Nick. Okay, operations. There are a couple small but impactful changes to our Hospitable Tasks app. Starting with the Jobs tab. So we have added a list view now to the Jobs tab and made that the default view for the app now. This came from feedback from you all. This is a pretty clear improvement for teammates with fewer tasks. We had put thought into making the calendar view on the right clever so that you can see it jumps to the teammate to the next job if there aren't any jobs available today. But yeah, seeing them side by side, it's a clear win for this teammate with fewer tasks, and that list view is better. That is now the default. You can always switch back to calendar view, and we remember your preference. So no harm done, only good things to come. The other update is a bit more fun. So upsells now show on check-in, checkout, and cleaning tasks in the Tasks app. So we try to be smart about only showing the upsells that would be relevant for your team. So for the reservation checking out, we will show a late checkout if it's been purchased, or any pet fee that might have been purchased as an upsell. For the reservation checking in, we'll show all of the upsells except if they purchased a late checkout, which we would only show on the next one, of course. So I'm pretty happy about how this turned out. This was a feature request, just like Nick mentioned previously on another one, from the town hall. It came up in a town hall, and here you go. We're listening. We also improved the notes field there. So you can see now we show a preview, just like on upsells, we show a preview. So you actually know what you're clicking into and if it's worth clicking into or not. So yeah, just a little polish here and there. And oh, we also translate all the upsells into Spanish, of course, just like all the content app. So lots of fun stuff happening in the Hospitable Tasks app. If you have not had perfect attendance over the last couple months at town halls, we have a pretty good, next slide, please, a pretty good looking task app now, English and Spanish app for teammates. It helps them manage their tasks, message, upload photos, report issues, complete jobs, and get paid with real-time status updates in Hospitable. We've been doing all kinds of different improvements, bug fixes since then, getting great feedback from you through the community, through the town hall. You now have the ability to pay out from multiple bank accounts. You have the ability to pay out on whatever schedule your cleaners choose, and that is any teammate actually, but you can have different schedules as well. So we can support really complex implementations now, with some getting paid monthly, some weekly, some bi-weekly, from 10 different bank accounts. It doesn't matter. Next updates coming from us will let you pay out within an organization. So this is kind of like secondary teammates. When you have managers and cleaners, that's a big one. A lot of time going into that. And I think we'll be able to soon expand also payments on tasks to Australia and the UK, which would be great. And with that, I will pass to Marina for everyone's requested updates on Vrbo.
Thank you, Andrew. So, quick update on one of the biggest releases for the connectivity team this year, our Vrbo official integration. So some of you have been following this project for months, while for others, I know this may be your first time hearing about our Vrbo official integration. So for years, our Vrbo connection served its purpose of helping you manage your reservations, but it also disconnected and gave us limited control. Vrbo Official is fully rebuilt on Vrbo's brand new API. So it has reliable syncing. It gives us the ability to help you manage your listings fully, including your pricing, your availability, your messaging, descriptions, photos, reservations. So if you're already using our current connection, this is the upgrade path. So it's the same Vrbo, but stable connection, no more disconnects. And also this matters whether you're already on Vrbo or you're thinking about adding it as a new channel. Vrbo is one of the biggest vacation rental platforms, so this integration is completely built with the focus of helping you reach more guests without creating more manual work. We launched a waitlist for hosts who want early access, and we have over 2,300 hosts that have signed up already for the waitlist. Right now, the waitlist is the fastest way to get access. We already started inviting hosts. We have over 100 hosts already connected, and we're rolling this out slowly to make sure that everything stays stable. When you join the waitlist, you can share your preferences, like whether you want us to be your merchant of record or you want to use Stripe. So that helps us know the right timing to invite you, and we know when what we have implemented fits your needs. We're planning to open the new integration to everyone on June 10th. But if you want early access, you can scan the QR code on the screen to join the waitlist. It takes about a minute, and it's the best way to get in early. Now, I'd like to invite Emily to the stage to share updates on Mogul.
Thanks, Marina. All right, I have a small update to the owner portal, but I think an impactful and maybe long overdue one. So our goal with the owners portal has always been to provide like just the right amount of transparency to your owners. It's a really, really tough line to balance. So we really do covet your feedback here. When owners reach out with questions, like we want to know what they ask you, what are they confused by? How could we be doing better? So we've heard from many of you that we got some of the terminology wrong. It was confusing. We've been using the terms net reservation income and your net reservation income to communicate what the reservation earned and then what the owner earned. That was really confusing for your owners. So we made sure to audit all mentions of these terms and get it right this time. So the net reservation income is what the reservation actually earned before any money moves between you and your owner. And then in the owner portal, the owner will see your income, meaning their income from their perspective, to represent what they are actually going to be receiving in their owner payouts after they've also paid all of your commission and any reimbursements that you owed them. So we hope that this helps to clear some things up, but as always, please keep the feedback coming. We will read it all and make improvements as we're able. Speaking of owner portals and owner payouts and all of the owner relations features that are included in the Mogul plan, we've heard from some of you that it's sometimes difficult to understand like what it is you need to do next. Like, am I fully set up? Am I ready to go? Like, what am I missing? So in an effort to make it easier to discover the features that you need to run your property management business, in our last town hall, we announced that we'd move some things around. So the owner management page is now actually gone, and the owner management features that you need still exist, but within the context of the relevant business. Honestly, this is where they belonged all along, but this change has kind of spurred a flurry of new feedback that we're starting to action on. So when you're looking at your list of businesses, we're now doing a better job of telling you what else you need to do to fully complete the setup. Do you need to invite any owners to the portal still? Are any of them missing a verified bank account? It's all surfaced here so you know what to do next. By the way, we're about halfway through the month, which is a really good time to invite your owners to the portal and have them add their bank accounts if they haven't already, so that by the time June gets here, they are ready to either receive owner payouts or pay your invoices when you publish May statements or invoices. Not only does the owner portal provide real-time insight into property performance, but it's also a really great way to highlight your own brand. The portal can live on your own custom domain. It can feature your logo, your preferred colors, and if you'd like, you can even set up the emails to come from your email, not Hospitable. So your owner's experience in the portal is really an experience with your business, not necessarily with ours. So that's all I've got for today. I will now pass to Petra for some events.
Thank you, Emily. So for the events, Nick mentioned, but we are having our third MCP workshop happening next Tuesday. If you want to rewatch the previous two ones, they're on our Hospitable YouTube account, so just head there and watch them. For the third one, go ahead and register. Even if the timing doesn't work for you, you're going to receive an email where you can then rewatch the episode at your convenience. That would be for MCP workshops. And a part of that, in 2 weeks' time, we're having another town hall. Next slide, Gabby. Yes. So make sure to add it to your calendar. So it's going to be same place, same time. We're going to double check the logging in, and we will see you again here. Thank you. Off to PC to learn how to invest in Hospitable.
I think people know, but that's basically my opportunity to give an update on how the host token is performing. Since the 1st of May, I've performed the last scheduled valuation increase. So basically now it is indeed at, I think it's at 270 million, although to be fair, I'm having difficulty to get access again and confirm the valuation with the platform that we're using for the token. So I've already raised the new tickets. I love to do those. But yeah, if that's your first time on the town hall, Hospitable is a different company. We are owned by the team and by our own customers, which feels great. And so our customers have invested a little bit more than $2 million over time into Hospitable to make it fundamentally more successful for you. So our interests are aligned. And unlike many other companies in the space, that means we are not owned by private equity, which is probably something close to the end of innovation as we see it. And I would love to continue doing it. So if you're interested into Hospitable, like what you're hearing on our town halls, you can join the 200 or so investors that have been signing up on invest.hospitable.com. So you can follow a little bit of a process to verify your identity. If you are based in the United States, you will need to upload an accredited investor verification letter, which is still a mouthful. That's basically to ensure that you have the right to be investing into our offering, and to do so, I recommend you to check out accredited.am, which is so far the best way to be having that letter. If you're outside of the United States, you can invest without any kind of representation or any kind of additional paperwork. So that's great for you. The price of the token now is at $42.26. So that's very different than what it used to be, I think, this time last year, which was just at $5 or not a lot more. Yeah, this is still discounted. I think it's going to be discounted for a little bit of time, discounted compared to what we believe would be the real valuation of Hospitable if we're going onto private markets to raise capital, which we don't need. We are self-sufficient. and bootstrapped and very attached on remaining it, or if we wanted to sell the company, which, you know, the more resources we have, the more fun we can have, the less likely it is in the short term. So that's the kind of update. Now let's move over to the Q&A with Emily, who will be doing a great job of moderating. Yeah, we can go on to a few questions.
Awesome.
I think there are still questions in the chat about Zoom, Zoom meeting, etc. I don't know. We're looking into it. We cannot change it for the current webinar. I do believe there is really something that's went on with Zoom themselves. That is it. So yeah.
Awesome. So I will call your names as you've raised your hand. So if you do have a question, go ahead and raise your hand now so you can get in line, if you will. First up is Abdi. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, hello. How can we help you today, Abdi? Now you can unmute yourself. That's a button on the bottom left if you are on a Mac or a PC. Fortunately, we cannot hear you now. Going on once, going on twice.
All right.
Abdi, if you can unmute. Okay.
Yeah, we can come back to you in a little bit. All right.
That's a great start to the channel, right, Emily?
All right.
Okay.
Next we'll go to Vinay. Vinay, what's your question?
Vinay. Hello, Vinay. Can you unmute yourself? Seems like we cannot hear you either. There's probably something on your mic, on your headset.
No.
Here we go. We can hear you now.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thanks for all the work you guys have been doing. It's fantastic. I have a couple of requests. One is, I mean, when we log into the Hospitable app, is there we wanted to see if you guys can look at any opportunities to speed up the app response. I mean, when we compare it side by side with Airbnb is super fast in opening up and navigating through each tabs and all. It's more intuitive, feel like a little bit than logging into Hospitable right now.
What is the pain? Like, it's great to have a story.
It's speed. One is the speed.
Okay, but what? So I think we've had reports there. It's coming up to engineers. So I think we can hear that. But just basically, you don't convey the point until you basically describe the pain. So basically, you cannot do what? If I may ask for an illustration.
No, not for the functionality. It's a kind of non-functional requirement, I would say. I'm talking about the speed in response, meaning when I open, for me, psychologically, if I have to respond to a guest, when I have two apps side by side, I'm more inclined to go to Airbnb and do the reply rather than doing from Hospitable. Why? My instincts are saying it's more faster to open up the app and respond.
Okay, I can hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, and my second ask is basically we are a small property management company. We have about 8 properties now under our belt, and we are scaling up fast. So we wanted to I know there are different roles available and a lot of customization there to give access to different team members with different access controls. However, under guest experience tab, there is a messaging. In messaging, there are rules, questions. So basically, for our operations team, we want to give access for messaging and also the go to the review the pending messages as well. Look at the pending message, but we do not want to give the access to the rules. It just the intent is not so that they don't accidentally turn on or off. We have about 15 to 20 rules that we have enabled for different scenarios. So just there is a toggle button there just to turn it on and off may stop sending the messages for new bookings or even to send the check-in instructions on them. So if that rules can be moved to a different location or have the option to restrict the access, that would be of great help.
Okay, so you want within guest experience the ability to turn off access to rules.
Yeah.
So as a specific integration scope, I think we can hear that. I think we can look into that because we're adding new permissions. The truth is that, yeah, I think it basically conveys more the organizational history than anything that's useful for our customers. It's kind of the trap we're falling into very often. And that guest experience used to be just about messaging roles, and now it no longer is the case. So I think there is the case to be made about basically more granularity in what it is, what to share access to under guest experience. So yeah, thank you. I think we can hear that on refining controls for the guest experience. As you can see on the permission side, you have few more opportunities on other products. So yeah, I think we can adapt that, especially for upsells, portals, etc.
Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you, Vinay. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I never know if I will not know if you'd want to step in as a product manager or as a moderator. So
Today I'm a host.
Today you're the host. Okay, thank you, Vinay. Was it everything? Yeah.
Thanks, Vinay. I think next we're going to invite Dolly up. Dolly, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, thank you. This is the first time I'm on. I was in my calendar, and I just signed up with you guys, and I have a few questions.
Okay,
Is there a customer support number that I can call? I'm trying to set everything up, and I already paid for the onboarding, and just no one has contacted me yet to do anything, to do the training or kind of walk me through to set this up. In the meantime, is there a customer support number I can call if I had any questions?
So we do not have a support phone number. Thank you very much for raising the question. Other alternatives say they do, but unfortunately, it's basically just landing to voicemail. What we have and what we're investing our energy into is a live chat bot that actually is smarty. We ran a workshop on this last week. I recommend, if you are dubious, to check it out on our YouTube channel. And this is basically an overpowered AI that can read a lot of the information in your account and can guide you on everything that you need to be doing. We have many people that do not want to be in touch with humans again because Smarty is doing too good of a job and are very frustrated when the conversation somehow is getting an actual thing we want to know about. And that drives also the volume of conversation very significantly. So I would recommend you to interact with our support bot, which is available at the bottom right. You have the little Hospitable logo at the bottom right of the website, and you can basically have entire conversation with it to basically help you out any time of the day or night with that. And obviously there are humans behind the scene that are reviewing the conversations and can basically investigate if you need it. And the best way to do that is to ask for a human. If that's the case, then basically we will collect all the information that we can to make sure that once a human is live, they're able to give you all the information that they're able to give you a quality answer.
Oh, okay. Then the other question I have, thank you for that. The other question I have is, I already set everything up, and I set up a couple of properties under owner and another property under property manager. However, I can see the report for the property manager property, but I cannot see it as the owner. I think it could be because I connected it with QuickBooks. I'm trying to figure it out, but is that something that you guys have some sort of limitations on?
I can try to answer this question if I understand what you're asking. It sounds like you're on the Mogul plan and set up a property management business and an owner business. The type of business defines what features you get. So for the properties that you're managing for other owners, you get owner statements and invoices because you need it as a property manager. For the properties that you own yourself and self-manage, you don't need owner statements and invoices, but we do provide a profit and loss report. You can still connect it to QuickBooks and all of that stuff, but the owner statements is not something that's a part of a business for properties that you own and self-manage, if that makes sense.
Okay, it does, and that helps. That's exactly the answer I needed, and that's what I figured. And the last question, well, two more questions. How often do you guys do this Q&A?
Every 2 weeks, minimum, same time, same place.
Okay, and lastly, where can I find a setup training, mainly for AI responses?
So
Like online, I'm trying to have like a video that walks us through how to feed information into your AI system so it can answer properly?
So you were saying earlier that you have an onboarding session that is yet to be scheduled. I think the team is hearing that loud and clear, and that session is going to be scheduled. And that's definitely one of the things that we'll review. I can appreciate the curiosity. There is also a process that we want to make sure to make sure that you're onboarded and set up for success during those onboarding sessions. So I think you will have 3 onboarding sessions
Tony,
to basically help you out.
Tony already looked into it in the chat, Dolly. If you look there, Tony's got a message for you. It looks like your account is just pending, and as soon as you finish that, the onboarding.
I
It's
thought
actually
everything was done.
Sorry, Dolly. I stepped in. The automation didn't kick in. You were supposed to get that email 3 hours ago, and you didn't, but I just pushed it through. So the link is in your inbox.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Can we have a bit of a moment for all the hospitable people that 3 hours and you get that on a live channel? That's just the level that we have to operate at. Like basically a miss on the automation, end up with the CEO having to answer shit. Okay, so great. Thank you very much, Jolie. Nothing is wrong on you, but that's basically like something to feed on ourselves and on the team. I think Nick I think Nick wanted to basically go on maybe share some things on the content for setting up Inbox AI.
Yeah, so for anyone interested in whether that's suggested AI or auto reply, your go-to is looking at the knowledge hub for each property, right? So if you go into your properties, go into some particular property, you'll have a knowledge hub link in there, and that's your representation of kind of the key details about the property that are relevant for a guest stay, and that's what AI will use, apart from like your general property details, the guest messages, and so on. So if there's stuff there that you find is missing when it comes to certain guidelines, procedures, like instructions, where things are, go ahead and just add it directly into the Knowledge Hub yourself. There's just a button there to add new things. And AI will pick it up next time you use it, or auto reply kind of works. The other thing is, as we've been talking about MCP, like if you're using a AI agent like Claude or ChatGPT and so on, you can actually just ask it, like, look through my last like 3 months worth of messages and see where there are gaps in the Knowledge Hub. Simple as that. And then we'll find it, and then you go and then you tell it, okay, yeah, go ahead and like action either all of these or just these ones that are relevant. That's how these 2 ways.
Thank you. Helps a lot. Thank you guys. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Dolly.
Sorry, I accidentally kicked you out too soon. Thanks, Dolly. All right, next we're going to invite up Brent. Brent, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes, hello. I'm a new Hospitable customer, literally not even 2 weeks in. I wanted to test drive it. I've been with Owner Res for many, many years, and I'm happy to be here. I've actually been following your journey for a few years now. And now that I see that you guys have a very robust system, I'm happy to be here. But my question for you guys is, so I'd like to get onboarded sooner. I would be willing to pay extra to get onboarded sooner. I'm not sure if there's an option for sooner. I see that onboarding is like a 2 weeks out scheduled process. Is that something, do you guys have maybe other hosts that I could pay to help me walk through the onboarding so I don't have to continue to wait?
Hey, Brent, Vera here. I just found your account. You've been speaking to Marshall and you're scheduled for May 20th. I'm going to reach out by email and try to push you in for this week. So give me like an hour or so and I'll give you a call. Sounds good?
Yes, thank you very much. And then I wanted to speak to, because I've been test driving the app, and I just wanted to speak to the speed issue. I know that to be very specific about it. So when I open the app, it takes me to that main dashboard area. Home is what the tab is called. And so when you're switching over to the messaging portion of the app, it does have a slight delay. I mean, it's not a crazy delay, but I don't expect it to be as quick as Airbnb. Airbnb is just a huge company with a crazy amount of resources. They've been doing it forever, but I would like to have the option to make the default, it's when I open the app for the default to be messages, because that's where I need the speed. The dashboard I can go to if I need to look at it later. And actually, I prefer the dashboard on the desktop, but I would love for the app to open to messages. And that would be my one request. Just 2 weeks in, just seeing how it operates. It takes, slightly longer than it would through the Airbnb.
Yeah, thanks for that, Brent. Two things. One, on feature requests, I think that's not just for you, but like everyone listening in, please send these through to feedback.hospitable.com.
Okay.
The more folks reach out about that, like the more likely we are to kind of act on it in the short term. But totally hear you. That's actually a valid request. On the speed front, again, not just to you, but I think everyone in the chat as well. For the feeling that the app is slow recently, I'd love to know if this is just a continuation of kind of things that you've felt over, I don't know, the past year, 6 months, or is it something recent that's actually started happening like in the last month or two? Because we have our own internal kind of metrics that we're tracking. But if it's something that a lot of you are thinking is happening over like a certain period of time recently, that may help us pin down actually what's going on there.
I think in the case of Brent, we just started.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's not terribly slow. I'm not saying it's slow by any means, but I would love to, because I'm on the go, and that's the reason I switched to Hospitable. OwnerRez doesn't have a native app. I just literally would want to open my app and it automatically be in my inbox. I don't know if you can do that. If you can, that'd be great. Thank you for your time.
Typically on the, sorry, Brent, but that's typically on the mobile application that you're talking about here.
Yes.
There's obviously different layers on top of all of that.
Yes, okay. And I'm using an iPhone 17, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
I think that part is fine. No, Nikita started by this on investigating why is the app freezing. There's probably something very obvious, but we have not been able to pierce it on basically what's the underlying problem. So there's different issues that are being reported. So yeah, we can hear that, and definitely I think I can hear you, especially when it comes to the mobile application being the messages being the default. So you're talking about the inbox specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think Nick was sharing some SK-san here in the chat about general feature requests. This is basically going to be directly embedded into how we want to develop features. So it's quite important for us that this lands in feedback.hospitable.com. We will make the change, but the time is not really for humans to be doing that anymore.
Doing it right now.
Thank you. I think we're good, Brent. We're good on that. There's probably one to vote, but we're not going to bother you with that. Okay, thank you very much, Brent, on the way of that conversation, and we can have someone new on the call.
Yep, we're going to invite Jared up to ask your question. Jared, please unmute.
Hello, Jared.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Yep. How can we help you today?
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to jump on the dog pile here, but like for the mobile app, I've been actually a Hospitable customer for about 3 years. And I wouldn't say necessarily it's gotten worse, but it does seem to be quite a bit slow. I don't know if it's using like web views or anything, but it doesn't feel like a native app. I think that's one of like the main pieces of feedback I would give compared to like Airbnb and things that other people are comparing it to. So, just generally pages just seem to load really slowly, similar to a browser. I think part of that is because when when I'm mobile, at least, I don't always have like a perfect connection like I do when I'm at my computer. So, sometimes if you're using like a true native app, it's a lot snappier, even if you don't have the best connection, because it's only getting just the data that it needs. But I've also seen issues like I get notifications all the time from Hospitable on my Android phone. And when I follow those notifications, they don't always intent out to the correct screen within the mobile app. So that's like a separate one. And even if it does work, it feels like it takes a really long time to load. So just want to echo, the speed issues there. And I think specifically regarding the today's issues with Zoom, I don't know if this is something that's new, but I tried today to go, I usually try to sign up for these things ahead of time. But today I was just like, oh, it's going on right now. Let me try to get to it. And from the Hospitable app, there's like a flow where you can try to get into the Zoom call, and it was like incredibly difficult to do it because because my Gmail wasn't logged in. So that, like, if I think one of the specific flows you can look at is the flow when you're on a mobile phone and you're trying to add this particular Zoom call to your calendar so you can get the actual link. It felt very broken to me. Even when I was able to log into calendar and go to the calendar screen, like everything was just like in like an iframe looking thing, and it was like incredibly hard to like add it to my calendar and join. So I was a little late today. So that's basic feedback. I think I've given, or at least other people have mentioned this before about the native app, but I think it'd be really great to have like a true native app.
You're right. We would love to. Just technically, I don't understand how that would impact the velocity of the database. If we can be honest.
Yeah, if it's the database.
That's the
that's
database.
what,
Okay,
yeah.
This is the API
Okay.
response. That's what we believe is the API response. It's not the rendering of basically the web view that is stored behind. There is a marginal effect, but I think we should be able to render that with the framework that we're using, basically within 400 milliseconds. That's basically what we're talking about, to have it feel instant. So that's the feedback I can hear. I can hear all the feedback about the inbox and the calendar. As for Zoom changing the way the default on the webinars, I cannot give you an answer on that for very obvious reasons. We are going to be looking into this. That's very clear. We hear you. We don't want you to be signing up in a very complicated way to do that. Just before, we were talking about we should probably have at one point our own app to do those presentations, to have the streaming live so that you can authenticate with your Hospitable account. I think that's basically what, if Zoom is starting to change settings all the freaking time, this is basically what's going to happen to us. We'd love to pay for Zoom instead, but rather than vibe coding another application. So that's the thing I can share with you about Zoom and what's happening on this webinar for this one time.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you so very much.
All right, next we'll invite up Lourdes. Lourdes, what is your question? Please unmute yourself.
Hey, so I have a pretty particular question here. So I am actually returning to Hospitable. I had a Mogul account, but my concern was the VRBO connectivity. So I'm returning from Guesty, and I've been coordinating with VRBO directly to decommission from Guesty and come over to Hospitable. They did mention, though, about the API update and connectivity, and they did recommend that I kind of hold off. However, it's super vital that we don't interrupt our existing VRBO bookings and we transition seamlessly without interruption. So is the best way that I go ahead and just have them disconnect and I connect for the meantime via the Chrome browser, but they did say it would be like unnecessary a few steps if we're going from API to API. So I just would appreciate a little bit of guidance on that so that I can get my VRBO bookings fully transitioned over.
Can I take this over? Yeah, okay. Lourdes, I would love to follow up with you in private. We're already taking some users from the waitlist and inviting them to join the Vrbo official integration. So I can follow up with you, see if
That would be fantastic, yeah.
the integration that we have already fits your setup, your needs. I need to really look into it to see if that's the case. But if it is, then I'm happy to invite you, and then we can transition you faster.
Excellent. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
And I think, Marina, while you're here and some people are listening, what's the thing between decommissioning and doing a PMS switch? I think what I heard is that decommissioning is basically going to take longer, a lot of back and forth, and ultimately has no benefits, right, Marina?
Yes. So basically, decommissioning is not necessary when you're transitioning from another PMS to the official integration. It's something that happened in the past for the unofficial connection that we had, but right now there's no need to do it. Once it's the official integration is live, then no one is going to need to do it anymore.
Yeah. So that means when we're able to know that it's a PMS switch, that means we can take over the connection to Vrbo immediately without any kind of the the burden of the decommissioning and then reconnecting to a PMS, which I understand is a bit convoluted and not ideal for.
So
Yeah, exactly. And that's what VRBO recommended as well. So yeah, that would be great. So that means I'll immediately call them, because I did tell them like, hey, it looks like it wasn't until like June, or it's not quite available yet. So I'll call them immediately to let them know to halt the decommissioning, because they did mention that it's like a few extra steps that might kind of impact the account.
No, but we have onboarded users in that very same situation as well. So in the ongoing
Excellent.
pilot.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much for raising that, Lourdes. Okay, and we have time for one last question. So everyone that would not be on stage, you are always welcome to send me an email directly, pc@hospitable.com. I will direct that to the relevant person and give you an answer. But for now, the last one will be Quinton. Quinton, how can we help you today?
How's it going, guys? Can you hear me well?
We can hear you fantastically loud and clear. How can we help you?
All right, fantastic. I made the final cut. So quickly, this is likely a question for Andrew around the task app and making payments to the cleaners. So you did mention that we have the variability and option to send weekly or even monthly and things like that, which I need to look into at least how to configure that. But my question is more around what the cleaner would see. So would they get some type of, I don't know, summary notification or email so that they know what that batch payment consists of? Because I can anticipate them wanting to reconcile that on their end.
Yeah, so in the tasks app, they have one of the tabs there is their payment history, and so they will get a full journal entry of what they're being paid for. You get the same on the host side, and we started doing this as well as like some like the top ups and everything. We now tell you what tasks they're funding, and when you do a weekly or monthly payment, we'll show you all the tasks that are being paid in that bulk payment. So that should be taken care of in the app as well.
Got it. Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. And my last question is there a reason why the guest portal link in the side panel, I'm using Android by the way, is a copy paste as opposed to like a clickable link? Sorry, that's a peeve of mine. I'm just wondering, maybe there's a valid reason for that or a quick adjustment.
I'm not sure if there's a good reason. The thinking was probably that you aren't really able to access the guest portal as the host. It requires a login. And so it's really to be shared. And I think a lot of our hosts are sharing it within kind of the shortcodes within their messaging rules, which is the best way to make sure that it's always shared, right? I'll look into it. It could.
That's a fair point. I probably should elaborate on why I'm doing this. Generally, when a guest is saying they can't see an upsell or they've completed a check-in task, like the rental agreement and things like that, I'm attempting to verify like what they're seeing. So what I would typically do is log in to their portal to see it. So that's actually why I'm attempting to access it as much. Maybe there are, I don't know, alternative ways of accomplishing that, but I wanted to provide additional context as to even why I'm attempting to use the tool in that way, or the feature in that way.
Okay. Emily, did you want to jump in or? Okay. Yeah, I mean, my feedback on that would be, I think we need to do a better job in the inbox where you're maybe looking for those statuses. You shouldn't, the intent is that you shouldn't have to go into the guest portal to see those statuses. I think that means we have more work to do to make sure that you have the feedback you need on what the status of any of those items are in the inbox.
Got it. Okay. No, I appreciate that. Just general feedback. So thanks for that. And thanks for everything you guys do. I'm, by the way, enamored with the task app for the cleaner. So that's my focus these days. Thank you.
Fantastic. I love that word choice. Thank you so much, Quentin. That was good feedback.
Great. And I think, is there like, do we want users to basically check on the guest portal? Obviously, we know that they have all the information necessary, but that's the problem is that the more times that happens, we have to be actually more restrictive on what we can see anyway. Like, for example, obviously everything related to payments. And so that guides the roadmap in a completely opposite direction to what we like to do. So I think there is a case for basically having an impersonate mode where basically we can hide information from anyone that just has access to the account. And the thing is that we kind of don't want to work with too much friction, and we receive plenty of feedback on that friction. So we have to draw that balance. So that basically means obviously the guests are secure. They are the payment method. You cannot just basically pay for an upsell yourself. But that's basically kind of a thing that we need to anticipate to balance the friction and the security of the guest, including when it comes to their payment details in the first place.
There are good reasons to offer impersonation mode. The owner's portal has it, which is great. We're going to do it for the tasks app as well. We know some of you want to see what the tasks app looks like from your cleaner's perspective or your teammate's perspective. So it's a good direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, I think we're going to bring this tunnel to a close. Was it feisty? I think I was feisty. I have to apologize for the word that I've used that was not an appropriate qualifier, and everyone knows what it was when I called out on the team on the 3 hours. But that's the kind of thing that I love to make as a case to the company. But so yeah, that's great. So. Thank you very much for raising attention to the latency of the application, especially the mobile application. This, as has been clear, this is still something that we need to pierce a little bit. There is still something that is unanswered, and we know we want to make it faster, and so that helps. I know we have also spent quite a bit of time in recent weeks. For example, we changed our database setup, a database server, to basically hopefully be faster. And we believe that it has been, but not quite in a way that it translates to your experience. The baseline is basically to have an experience feel like super reactive and responsive is basically 400 milliseconds. And in terms of latency, that's what feels instant. Okay, we see you again in 2 weeks. We'll be sharing more on the outcome of this retreat, and we'll be sharing more on the product updates by then. Yeah, thank you so very much. And I need to bring an end to my rant because otherwise I sleep. Thank you so much.